So nowadays it seems like mobile manufacturers can't just launch one new smartphone at a time. They always have to release a Pro version or a Lite version alongside it, or in the case of the new Honor 20 flagship phone, all bloody three at once. The Honor 20 Pro is of course the most premium member of the new Honor 20 trio, packing a powerful telephoto camera lens and a bigger battery compared with the standard 20. I've had my Sims stuck inside this bad boy for the past week, and here is my in-depth Honor 20 Pro review. And for more on the latest and greatest tech, don't forget to poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So far in 2019, we've already had a serious influx of new Honor handsets, but the Honor 20 Pro is of course the Billy Big Bollocks king of them all. Have a quick squint at that shiny glass chassis and you would be more than forgiven for confusing it with the existing Honor View 20, up to now the most premium handset in the family. You do get that same full view finish with only a teeny little pinhole camera to break up that symmetry, while flipping the phone over reveals another shiny rear, available this time around in greeny or purpley hues. Of course, the View 20 has had us all hypnotised with its psychedelic V-pattern shenanigans. Here on the Honor 20 Pro, things are a bit more straight-laced, although stare deeply enough into that dark, moody surface and you'll probably see your very soul reflected back at you. Or maybe that's just me after a few too many whiskies. This handset does feel a little bit chunky coming straight from the likes of the S10 and the OnePlus, as the display doesn't curve around the edges. It's got more of an iPhone XS feel to it for sure, but still the Honor 20 Pro is a wee bit more compact than many recent phones. Plus of course you have that glorious one-handed mode in case you're really struggling. One of the more intriguing physical features of the Honor 20 Pro is that edge-mounted fingerprint sensor. It's an old Sony Xperia quirk that I thought long since dead, until of course recently Samsung dragged it kicking and screaming back out of the grave. On the 20 Pro it works a charm. Thankfully Honor didn't stick it all the way up at the top of the bloody phone, so you can actually reach it without dislocating your finger. Bonus! Unlike those old Sony sensors, it's super responsive and even seems to work quite well even with a wet digit. Just a quick tap and you're straight in. Or if you're wearing gloves, you can always just give it a poke to activate the 2D face recognition instead. Following a week of fairly rough handling, there still, touch wood, isn't a single nick on that shiny, sleek surface, and you do get a screen protector pre-installed on the display as well for extra peace of mind. Sadly there isn't any proper water resistance here on the Honor 20 Pro, but I can definitely vouch that it works absolutely fine even with a little bit of rain, bit of beer spatter, things like that. And you actually get a colourful wee notifications light here on the Honor 20 Pro as well, housed in that top speaker grille, although it is very subtle and easy to miss unless you're staring right at the thing in a darkish kind of room. Thankfully you can have the screen flash on when a notification is received as well, if you're waiting for something important. But there is no always on display feature because of the LCD screen. The 6.26 inch display is pretty much the same as other recent Honor panels. That Full HD Plus resolution means sharp results when checking out your snaps or just taking a bit of a break with some shows. Colours are well on the warm side in the default settings, although as usual you can play about with the output in the Honor 20 Pro's display options. And yes, some people do still get their panties in a bunch over the old dinky pinhole camera action thingies, but personally I didn't even notice it most of the time. Whether you're chilling with some Netflix or whatever, the lower left positioning means that that black dot is tucked away where it's basically unintrusive. And even when you're blasting through a bit of PUBG Mobile, it's no bother whatsoever. But all the same, if the sight of the thing does make you sick for whatever reason, you can just block it from view. Sorted. Sadly there's no 3.5mm headphone jack or stereo speaker setup here, but you do get support for virtual 9.1 surround sound when you've got a pair of headphones connected, which seems to do the job. The rest of the Magic UI overlay holds no real surprises. This is essentially the same software found on the View 20 and Huawei's Emotion UI by another name. That means respectable levels of customization and some effective gesture control for those who want it, plus plenty of other helpful little features. I've already done a full tips and tricks guide for the best features found on Magic UI right here on TechSperts. Go have a squint at that for all you need to know. Of course, in a case of typically terrible timing, Google announced just yesterday that it would be cutting Android licensing support for Huawei smartphones and therefore by extension Honor as well. According to official statements, any existing phones, including the likes of the Honor 20 Pro, should keep their Play Store access and continue to get those security updates at least for now, but who knows what's going to happen in the future. You might be hit by severe delays with some of these updates, some essential services might be cut. Frankly, it's a terrifyingly, scarily uncertain future unless some kind of compromise or agreement is reached between the Chinese and the American contingency. So definitely bear that in mind if you are thinking of spending some of your hard-earned cash on a Huawei or on a smartphone. Anywho, on to happier stuff, so performance. Now, as you'd expect from the new premium flagship phone on the block, this Honor handset runs on the most powerful Kirin platform around, the same Kirin 980 chip crammed inside Huawei's P30 and P30 Pro. Backed by up to 8 gigs of RAM and that smart app management chugging away in the background, you can expect a smooth experience even when you're multitasking or smashing through some Android games. And as standard, Huawei's GPU Turbo feature ticks away in the background, just ensuring a nice smooth, consistent frame rate when you're playing some of the most popular Android games such as PUBG Mobile. If you've got no idea what the chuffing heck I'm talking about, go check out my full GPU Turbo deep dive, again, here on TechSpert. And definitely no complaints as far as battery life is concerned either. Honor phones are always dependable on the energy efficiency front, so the huge 4000 mAh battery was never drained at the end of a long day, even with plenty of media streaming, camera use, all of that shenanigans. You don't get the 40-watt recharge support of the P30 Pro, or indeed that wireless charging, but the 22.5-watt supercharged tech means you'll easily get enough juice for a long commute from just 5 to 10 minutes at the plug. Now surprisingly, one of the only real differences between the vanilla Honor 20 and this Honor 20 Pro edition is that camera tech, although both of these phones do manage to cram in 4 lenses. Like a growing number of smartphones around this price range, you have a 48 megapixel primary lens with Sony's IMX586 sensor, alongside a 16 megapixel super wide angle shooter and a 2 megapixel macro camera for extreme close-ups. And here on the Pro model, you also get a telephoto lens which serves up a 3x optical zoom, complete with optical image stabilization. Now I've been testing the Honor 20 Pro's camera tech alongside the OnePlus 7 Pro and the Huawei P30 Pro just to see how it stacks up against some of the biggest competition out there. So go check out my in-depth camera comparison live right now to see how it fares. So 7 days after slipping my SIM into the Honor 20 Pro, would I recommend it? Well, the overall experience is very similar to the Huawei P30, but at a more affordable price point. You won't find any exceptional features that help the phone to really stand out against its peers. There's no real USP here. But get over that lack of excitement and this is still a solid all-rounder. And that right there is what I think of the Honor 20 Pro after a full week of using it as my personal handset. Are you tempted? Definitely be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments down below, or perhaps you're tempted by one of its big rivals such as the new Zenfone 6, the OnePlus 7 Pro. There's quite a lot of phones around this sort of price point that definitely do the job as well. So yeah, it'd be great to hear from you guys, and please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell for more on the latest and greatest mobile tech. Cheers everyone, love you!